The United States Navy may be far more advanced than we realize. Dr. Salvatore Cezar Pais, who is an inventor for the US Navy, has been working on a number of projects that weren't known by the general public. However, thanks to documents that have been released online, we now know what this inventor and the Navy has been working on. The official documents have revealed that the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division is working to test these concepts. These documents have revealed that the Navy didn't brush these aside, but rather took them seriously. It's not known how far they took this, but insiders have said that the US Navy is working on things that we couldn't imagine. Dr. Salvatore Cezar Pais said the following: "The idea is that controlled motion of electrically charged matter via accelerated vibration and/or accelerated spin subjected to smooth yet rapid acceleration transients would generate extremely high energy, high intensity electromagnetic fields." End quote. One of the patents was released online and reads as follows: "High frequency gravitational wave generator. The United States of America as represented by the Secretary of the Navy. A high-frequency gravitational wave generator, including a gas-filled shell with an outer shell surface, microwave emitters, sound generators, and acoustic vibration-resonant gas-filled cavities. The outer shell surface is electrically charged and vibrated by the microwave emitters to generate a first electromagnetic field. The acoustic vibration-resonant gas-filled cavities each have a cavity surface that can be electrically charged and vibrated by acoustic energy from the sound generators, so much so that a second electromagnetic field is generated. The two acoustic vibration-resonant gas-filled cavities are able to counterspin relative to each other to provide stability, and propagating gravitational field fluctuations are generated when the second electromagnetic field propagates through the first electromagnetic field. The invention described herein may be manufactured and used by or for the government of the United States of America for governmental purposes without payment of any royalties. Gravitational waves can be seen as undulations in the structure of spacetime, or to be more exact, ripples in the curvature of the spacetime fabric. These waves are propagating fluctuations in gravitational fields, which arise due to the dynamics of massive physical entities. The source of gravitational waves may not be massive in nature, as long as its motion is represented by high-frequency, high-energy far from equilibrium dynamics. This can be observed from the energy-momentum tensor expression in the GR field equations. Artificially generated high-energy electromagnetic fields can interact strongly with the local vacuum energy state, an aggregate collective state composed of the superposition of all fluctuations in the collective quantum fields, permeating a given space-time locality. According to quantum field theory, this strong interaction between the fields is based on the mechanism of transfer of vibrational energy between the fields, further inducing local fluctuations in adjustment quantum fields, which permeate that space-time locality. These fields may or may not be electromagnetic in nature. Another document reads as follows: craft using an inertial mass reduction device. The United States of America as represented by the Secretary of the Navy. A craft using an inertial mass reduction device comprises of an inner resonant cavity wall, an outer resonant cavity, and microwave emitters. The electrically charged outer resonant cavity wall and the electrically insulated inner resonant cavity wall forms a resonant cavity. The microwave emitters create high-frequency electromagnetic waves throughout the resonant cavity, causing the resonant cavity to vibrate in an accelerated mode and create a local polarized vacuum outside the outer resonant cavity wall. There are four known fundamental forces which control matter, and therefore control energy. The four forces are strong nuclear forces, weak nuclear forces, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force. In this hierarchy of forces, the electromagnetic force is perfectly positioned to be able to manipulate the other three. A stationary electric charge gives rise to an electric electrostatic field, while a moving charge generates both an electric and a magnetic field, hence the electromagnetic field. Additionally, an accelerating charge induces electromagnetic radiation in the form of transverse waves, namely light. Mathematically as well as physically, electromagnetic field intensity can be represented as the product of electric field strength and magnetic field strength. Electromagnetic fields act as carriers for both energy and momentum, thus interacting with physical entities at the most fundamental level. Artificially generated high-energy electromagnetic fields, such as those generated with a high-energy electromagnetic field generator, interact strongly with the vacuum energy state. The vacuum energy state can be described as an aggregate, collective state comprised of superposition of all quantum field fluctuations, permeating the entire fabric of space-time. High-energy interaction with the vacuum energy state can give rise to emergent physical phenomena, such as force and matter unification. According to quantum field theory, this strong interaction between the fields is based on the mechanism of transfer of vibrational energy between the fields. The transfer of vibrational energy further induces local fluctuations in adjustment quantum fields, which permeate space-time. These fields may or may not be electromagnetic in nature. Matter, energy, and space-time are all emergent constructs, which arise out of the fundamental framework that is the vacuum energy state. Everything that surrounds us, ourselves included, can be described as macroscopic collections of fluctuations, vibrations, and oscillations in quantum mechanical fields. Matter is confined energy bound within fields, frozen in a quantum time. Therefore, under certain conditions, such as the coupling of hyperfrequency axial spin with hyperfrequency vibrations of electrically charged systems, the rules and special effects of quantum field behavior also apply to macroscopic physical entities, macroscopic quantum phenomena." End quote. Many of the comments that followed on from this said that we really have no idea what our military is capable of, and said that they likely have things that would blow many people's minds, while others said this is a perfect example of truth is stranger than fiction. Being one of the most well-known cryptids ever reported across North America, the Jersey Devil has entered the popular folklore of cryptid encounters, and has been referenced in nearly all forms of mainstream media, from books to movies to even modern video games. What fans of this ancient cryptid are not aware of, however, is that back in the early 1800s, it's believed that the US government led a clandestine mission to hunt down the Jersey Devil and remove it from the Pine Barrens area, which is located around New Jersey, to prevent the creature from wreaking havoc on the nearby communities. According to official reports surrounding the Jersey Devil, one of the oldest reported encounters with the Jersey Devil centers around a mission between the United States Navy and US President James Monroe. According to the reports regarding the incident, back in 1819, US President James Monroe, curious about the legends of the Leeds Devil, sent two men, a naval officer Commodore Stephen Decatur, Dr. James Killian, and a small group of men to investigate the Pine Barrens. By this time, naval officer Stephen Decatur was already a world-renowned captain of the United States Navy, having reached the position at only 25 years of age. Dr. James Killian was a world-renowned naturalist, having published several books on what would later be known as the field of zoology, with a special interest in exotic animals, similar to what would now be considered a cryptozoological fascination. Interestingly, a declassified government mission featuring naval officer Commodore Stephen Decatur, alongside a small team of people, is recorded as having occurred back in 1819, in which the team of men travelled to the Pine Barrens to perform a quality check on the iron industry, with the designation to inspect and test some of the privately produced armaments, such as cannonballs. The team was reported by the US government as having landed at the Burlington County Harbor and investigating the communities of Bastow and Hanover for unknown purposes. The official government report, however, claims that the men experienced nothing out of the ordinary and merely tested some of the equipment and met up with private factories and their managers. The truth is, however, that the rest of the story deviates from the government report, claiming that though the men did inspect the armaments and the factories throughout the Pine Barrens, many of the men seemed more interested in striking up casual conversations about local legends. After alerting the naval men and Dr. James Killian to the legends and sightings of the Jersey Devil, Officer Decatur decided to set up a temporary residency, and this was at a cabin located within the Pine Barrens, where the monster had been recently sighted. Although the details get somewhat hazy, surviving members of Decatur's crew claim that the men were attacked in the night by the Jersey Devil, with 2 men having been eaten by the creature, and Officer Decatur, Dr. James Killian and a handful of the crewmen having taken down the creature, after shooting the beast several times in the body. Before retiring after the attack, Dr. James Killian was reported as having performed a quick animal autopsy on the creature, determining that the beast was a natural inhabitant of the area and not of supernatural origin. After cutting open the womb of the creature, Dr. James Killian discovered the monster to have been pregnant with several pups of the strange dragon-like monster, and theorized that the creature must have been a surviving small population within the area, and that they needed to be dealt with. The claims end that Dr. James preserved one of the fetuses of the creature in a jar, and did this for further examination and private ownership. The whereabouts of the specimen is still unknown in the modern day. Interestingly, the claims that Dr. James made surrounding the creature's design, of it appearing to have been a native dragon-like species, sounds eerily similar to ancient Native American legends local to the region. Cryptid and UFO researcher George Dudding believes that the true legends of the Jersey Devil predate the modern-day legends of the 13th child. When researching the history of the pre-colonial period of the New Jersey area, George Dudding found similar stories of what was referred to as a dragon in the river that ran throughout the area of the modern-day New Jersey. Dudding would write the following in his investigations into the matter. Native American Indians are known to have inhabited the area for around 13,000 years, and this was after the most recent Ice Age. One of these tribal groups, known as the Lenni-Lenape, or Lenape Indians, occupied the lower Hudson River Valley in the Delaware River Valley, along with the lands that reached eastwards to the Atlantic Ocean, that's now known as the state of New Jersey. The early European settlers referred to the Lenape Indians as the Delaware tribe. During the occupation of the land by the tribe, they referred to the area around the Delaware River as the Place of the Dragon. After the Swedish explorers came, they referred to the Delaware River as Drake Hill, which is a combination of 2 words meaning Dragon River. In doing more research using old maps, it can be seen that there is a creek just across the Delaware River in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, called the Pequesing Creek, which is a tributary to the Delaware River. Within the same area is a place called Drake Island, which translates into French as La Rivière des Dragons, or the River of Dragons. End quote. Given Dr. James' findings and his recommendation that the native dragon-like species must be dealt with to prevent future attacks, given their rate of having offspring and the growing availability of livestock and cattle throughout the region, it appears that there may be some substance to these dragon theories. Although there was no evidence that the US government would perform any actions at the time, roughly 20 years later, reports of the monster would change how it was perceived. According to the Pine Barrens Museum, during the summer of 1840, the community surrounding the Pine Barrens forest suffered from mass sightings of the Jersey Devil, They're known as the Leeds Devil creature, with claims that more than one Jersey Devil is prowling through the communities and attacking their children and livestock. During the year, record sightings of the creature were made, with reports of farms having been completely destroyed by the creature, as chickens, goats, cows and horses were described as being attacked by a large creature, or suffering from wounds that appeared as if the livestock animals had been dropped from a terrible height. The sightings and attacks would continue until 1841, with a sudden religious hysteria taking over the nearby communities, as residents local to the area were desperate to find any means to stop the sightings of the creatures, either through spiritual protection or physical protection. Relief would suddenly come during the year, however, as the sightings of the creature slowly died down, and normalcy resumed by the winter months. The cause for the disappearance of the Jersey Devil sightings is unknown, though several theories have spawned claiming that the US government was responsible for the hunting and eradication of the creature or creatures. In recent years, drones have captured various interesting things, and some of the most fascinating and mysterious ones are those that were caught by accident. One man recently posted this photograph to social media and said that he captured something mysterious while flying his drone. He said that at the time he didn't notice anything strange in the sky, but upon viewing the footage at home, he noticed that in a small section of the video a strange object could be seen. He described the odd shape as looking like a floating pyramid, and wanted to get people's opinion on what the mysterious object could be, saying that he hasn't seen the object since, and has no idea what it could be. He said the following: "I've owned my drone now for around a year, and this is the first time that I've captured something strange. I was reviewing the footage that evening and noticed something close to the clouds. One of the first things that came to mind was that this thing looks like a large pyramid, and to me it appears to be partially cloned. Although I understand this could be due to it being partially obscured by the clouds. I know the image isn't the clearest, and that the list of things this could be is quite high, but to me it looks like a craft, and not something like a plastic bag or a balloon. I've never seen anything like this where I live. This was snapped above Wiltshire, England. I've shown a few people, but they can't seem to come to a conclusive answer for what this thing is. I'm looking forward to hearing people's opinions." End quote. One person came forward and agreed that this craft does look like it's partially transparent, and notes that it's likely that the person in question probably wouldn't have seen this from the ground. One user said the following: "This isn't the first time that a craft like this has been observed. In fact, I've seen many photographs depicting mysterious objects hovering close to clouds, and in some cases when the crafts move they actually leave imprints in the clouds, proving that something was there. I'm not sure what this is, but it matches what other people have captured." Some skeptics though have said that it could just be a camera anomaly, and that the sun could be hitting the drone at a certain angle and creating this illusion. Others carried on from this and said it could also be an atmospheric illusion, and that it's making it look like there's something there when there isn't. One of the issues with these types of photographs is that the eyewitness doesn't have much to go by, and the event happens so quickly, or in this case the individual didn't even see it, meaning it makes it harder to piece together what they captured. There's some that think this could be a mysterious flying object, while others think it's just a camera anomaly. Interestingly, Wiltshire is no stranger to these kinds of reports, and for years now local residents have been reporting strange happenings above Wiltshire, with some amateur researchers even labelling this location as a hotspot for paranormal activity, detailing that every year strange crafts and mysterious entities are reported in and around the area. In fact, the mysterious Rodlo Manor is located in Wiltshire. The manor was originally created as a Bathstone mining station, The area that would later be Rodlo Manor was worked and designed to mine bathstones from the region, to be used in massive building projects, utilising the material and its ability to be cut in any direction, a property that other stones do not have. This led to larger scale projects and cheaper means of production, which worked to help build hospitals, different forms of housing and other major construction projects across the United Kingdom. It was not until the war that Rodlo Manor gained its use in military operations, as the tunnels from its existing bathstone mine was a prime location to store ammunition. These tunnels and further large caverns that buried deep into the ground and helped to create a safe and stable natural bunker was merely used as a central ammunition depot at the start of the war, but soon the area found itself to be a major control centre used by the Royal Air Force. Rodlo Manor was then seen as a hotspot for mysterious flying crafts and a control centre for further investigations. This incident occurred as Royal Air Force pilots returned from raids and reported that they had encountered unidentified flying objects. Though the details around the incident are unknown, released reports provide further information claiming that Winston Churchill himself asked for the event to be covered up to prevent mass panic. This would develop into its own team of investigators from the Joint Intelligence Committees at Rodlo Manor, and within the operations room its weekly reports would then be filed regarding the presence of extraterrestrials and the military's involvement. Further leaked information began spreading that the underground shadow factory soon became used as a potential reverse engineering facility, as the Royal Air Force had supposedly recovered a crashed alien spacecraft that was being studied and held in the underground facility. Interestingly, these rumours are further confirmed by Nick Pope, who used to work for the British Ministry of Defence and was tasked by the government to study and further gather information and research relative to unidentified flying objects, the alien presence and the potential threat to national security. Pope would later back disclosure projects, with the hopes of the UK government releasing further documents relative to their findings of extraterrestrial activity, but would later go on to say that mysteriously all of the files pertaining to the 1950s operation at Rodlo Manor that concerned alien activity was destroyed and was unable to be recovered. Despite this unfortunate turn of events, further documents had later been released to the British National Archives that provided proof and evidence of the alien investigations and clandestine operations held at Rodlo Manor. These clandestine operations included a wide array of alien reports that spanned over 5,000 documents, as well as famous events that had been covered up by the British government. The list of these events include a near collision report of a 737 aeroplane, almost colliding with an unidentified flying object, with statements from the captain and first officer, an alien response team investigating and recovering a crashed UFO at the Berwyn Mountains in Wales, full detailed investigative reports of the Western Isles incident that many locals claim to have heard a loud explosion over the Atlantic, confirming the incident to be of extraterrestrial origin, the 14 minutes of supposed missing footage from the Blue Streak missile launch that showed evidence of a craft landing and the presence of a spaceman as described in the report, and many other discoveries that seemed too frightening to be true. So what do you make of this interesting photo? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.